Hello everybody, good evening. It's very hot out. I don't know how hot it is. It's like high 80s and it's humid, which is hot for Maine. I know. For a lot of the world, particularly right now, for a lot of like the West Coast compared to like Central Valley, California, this is nothing. But anyway, just went for a run. I'm going to try and do this video before I sweat through this shirt here. It's very blue right now. Let's see. Also, there's a tractor trailer that might pull out in here any minute and ruin all of this. So I'm going to try and keep this quick and probably fail completely. Just got my yearly allocation of Lamoresca Rosato and Nero Capitano Frappato. So this is Filippo Rizzo's Rosato. This starts out, he harvests some Zabibo and gets that fermenting. He uses that as like a Pied de Cuve. That's like 4% of this wine approximately, and then the rest of it is roughly 50-50, something like that, for Frappato Nero d'Avola. Geez, let's see. So Lamoresca, Filippo Rizzo. So this is San Michele di Ganzaria is the name of the town. It is southeastern Sicily, but it is northwest of Chiaramonte Golfi, Ragusa, Vittoria, so like where Kos is, and Ariana Occupinti, and Piano Grillo, and I don't know, all the cool stuff there. Filippo is like 50 kilometers? Is that right? Maybe it's something like that. To the northwest. Middle of nowhere. I visited him at the end of 2019. It was one of my last trips before the pandemic. I love Sicily a lot. He's in classic rural Sicily, like rolling hills, lots of wheat, lots of farming, but like just open rolling hills, sunny. You can just see Mount Etna off in the distance, like hulking over the hills, smoking and stuff. Let's see, I should open this. So Filippo Rizzo, he had family. His family was from Sicily and stuff. He had ended up moving to Belgium. He had a little tiny Italian restaurant and wine bar, and he was into natural wines and stuff in Belgium. I don't know what years that was. 90s, I guess? Something like that. That's where he met his wife, Nancy. It's also where he met Frank Cornelissen, who I believe Filippo had the restaurant, and I believe Frank Cornelissen, that was when he was distributing wine, and so Filippo and Frank got to know each other. They were friends and stuff like that, had a business relationship. Eventually Filippo was wanted to go back to Sicily. He'd had enough of like living in Belgium, living in a city, so he bought this property, this like old, I don't even know what was there, whether there was a house there. There were a few vines. There was like a little old vineyard, but mostly olive trees. He bought this old olive orchard, this like 11-hectare property, with the idea that he would go and make olive oil there, because olive trees are a lot easier to deal with than grapevines. You have to prune them, you know, at once or twice during the year, and then you sort of like take care of them a little bit, and you know, keep them from getting overgrown, try and keep them from falling over, and you go harvest your olives. So anyway, he does that, but then he gets there and he's like, I want to make wine. And he starts making wine from the like little tiny vineyard that he has, but that's not enough. So he starts planting more vines, and then he starts, you know, and while he was doing that, he actually went and made wine with Frank up on Mount Etna for a bunch of years, because they were friends, and like Filippo sort of knew about winemaking but wanted to learn more and just like get experience. And his vineyard wasn't producing any grapes really yet, because the old vines needed to be sort of like retrained, recovered, and he was planting new vines. It's interesting. The soil is a mix of like clay, like it's like sloping hillsides sloping down to this river, but like, so they're sort of up facing northwest. Northwest, most of them. Clay, but then also a bunch of sand from like eroded sandstone, so it's very light and airy. On my YouTube channel, there's video of me and Filippo walking around in it, and it's what I imagine walking on the moon was like. Like every footstep I took, I sunk in like 3 or 4 inches to it, but it was so light and airy and powdery. Filippo had just bought this other abandoned property across the valley from him. You could see it from his house. There was this like these fallen down buildings that he was completely rebuilding and putting a new roof on, but like using old recovered terracotta tiles and stuff like that. It was this crazy sandstone outcropping with Ficadindia cactuses, prickly pear cactuses that he was cutting back, and he was gonna, like actually farm, and more olive trees and stuff like that. Anyway, so I think at this point Filippo has like 20 something hectares, and so I stayed with him and like hanging out and talking to him. It was clear that he loved what he was doing. He loved the land. He loved working it, and he just could not help himself. He could not help constantly being like, could I do that better? Could I do this better? What if I did that? What if I bought that fallen down abandoned building and turned it into an agriturismo? What if he just cannot help himself from doing awesome winemaking, farming stuff here. His wines are beautiful. Let's see, so the Frappato and the Nero d'Avola get like several hours of skin contact of maceration, and then how am I gonna, whatever, I can't put that cork back in the bottle right now. And then he presses it off with a little tiny wooden basket press. It's like this big around. The juice finishes fermenting in open plastic, bins that are like yay high-ish and like that big around. I don't know how many liters fits in that, but that's the size. And then I forget how long it spends. I believe it stays in cement. Well, he has a mix of cement and stainless steel tanks. Tiny little winery. No filtration, no fining. He racks the wine several times. Sometimes adds a tiny bit of sulfate bottling, sometimes doesn't, tries to avoid it if he feels like he can. I asked him while I was there, because we were tasting through like things that were getting close to being ready to bottle but weren't yet. We were just tasting through all these tank samples, and the wines, I've always loved his wines, but they were really, really gorgeous and pure. And I was like, well, why are your wines so good? I like asking winemakers that and putting them on the spot. It sounds like a softball question, but it's kind of not. Anyway, he was like, well, I live here. Like, this is my house. The winery is here on the first floor. I live above it. So I'm just here every day, all throughout the day, multiple times during the day, tasting everything, looking at everything and stuff. So it's just, his answer was that he's extremely hands-on, and has a fair amount of experience at this point. So he catches things before they go wrong. He's like, this wine, this tank would be better if I racked it now, or if I don't know what, if I add a little bit more Zabibo to it. Anyway, smells very Sicilian. Smells sunny. Hopefully that camera's not looking at the sun right now. Oh, God, that's really good. It's like black raspberry aroma. A little bit of cranberry. Like black cherry, but it's also floral smelling. Cool, I'm not sweating through the shirt yet. My face, I feel like I'm just running with sweat now. It's actually hard to smell the wine because I'm so sweaty. Well, welcome to 2021. Climate change. Never met a winemaker that didn't believe in climate change, because they're all living it. Oh boy, what is that? It's not grapefruit, not like ruby grapefruit, pink grapefruit. It's not that. Kind of some strawberry, like it's very fresh, but there's something that's like a little bit not herbaceous, but there's something that's like a little spicy in like an aromatic herbal kind of way. I'll probably figure it out later on tonight as I taste this and write tasting notes for it. Medium bodied, relatively lush. It's not like lean, sharp, laser, acidity driven rosé. This is like grown up, more complicated, layered, exciting, beautiful, thoughtful rosé is like what I would call this. Okay, let's see. Raspberry up front, some strawberry. Then I get like a prickly, peppery, sort of like brambly thing in the mid palate a little bit. It has a little bit of a taste of like ruby grapefruit to it. Yeah, it's meaty. It has a little bit of tannin too. Oh, what's that? In the finish, a little bit more grapefruit. Yeah, it's a little bit pithy on the mid palate, like that meaty, like grapefruit pithy thing going on. A little bit of salt, yeah, then some tannin. The tannin, you know, like obviously it dries out the finish, but it also draws it out, and it makes the fruit there that it's still, like there's still a fair amount of fruit in the finish. It makes it more elegant. It's more like focused, like cranberry, strawberry there. It's very good. This is really, really tasty. I am super excited to have this, and perfect for this weather. I'm gonna go home and drink this with some awesome chicken salad that I made last night. All right, bye everybody.